My name is Neil Buffham. I'm from Skyview High School, and the title of my piece is Technology These Days. We've all had those times when we're enjoying a conversation with a friend or scrolling through social media when, well, it drops. Or even worse, we actually break a phone, laptop, etc. Surprisingly, 5,761 people break their smartphone every hour in the United States alone. Broken devices these days bring the question of what next? Should a person just buy a new one or spend a significant portion of the original purchase price on a repair? With only limited information about repairing technology available and current tech giants remaining tight-lipped about their sales practice, our topic is technology these days, covering what's happening, why it's important, and what we can do about it. First, what's happening? It's always easy to reminisce about the good old days. Toys these days aren't made like they used to be. Back in my day, you could kill a moose with a Tonka truck. While fond remembrances such as these often have a brighter shine in hindsight, many things truly aren't made like they used to be. Purposefully. The idea is planned obsolescence, and the idea behind it is that if a customer has to buy a product again and again and again, then the company makes a lot more profit than they would helping to maintain the customer's current purchase. Especially in the technology world, companies usually try and bait for new purchases 3 different ways. By making old products seem too old, or using emotional appeal to sell new products. Second, by making products physically stop working. They're just broken. And third, by using software and unnecessary hardware changes to sell new products. First, we're all familiar with the emotional appeal of new products. On a simple trip to Walmart, I drive past 12 different car dealerships. And while I can't speak for all of us, I know that at my school, having the latest and greatest iPhone is definitely used as a status symbol. Companies have become excellent at playing with the seemingly natural human desire for the best, coercing customers with stats like 50% faster than last year. And this is nice, but 50% faster, among other catchy advertising jargon, doesn't always mean what it sounds like it means, giving the idea of a better product than is actually delivered. Second, we have physically breaking. Many times it appears like buying a new product is truly necessary. When a washer or dryer, for example, breaks, the simplest answer is often to just buy a new washer or dryer. But there's usually more beneath the surface here. In the 1960s, which was the beginning of many home automations, people had a different outlook on buying a washer or dryer. It was expected that you might buy a washer, not one for your current house. The washing machine company Maytag expressed this nicely in their commercial, The Lonely Repairman, where during repairman training, the trainer explains that Maytag washers and dryers are built to last. That makes the Maytag repairman the loneliest man in town. Here's your survival kit. Playing cards for solitaire, crossword puzzles, and beadwork. True to their word, appliances from this era tended to last 40 to 60 years. Unfortunately, that doesn't stand for our current time, where you'd be lucky to get 10 years out of a washer, with 40% of appliances having issues within the first year. Then there's the gray area in between, where things aren't actually broken, but companies make it look like it was. Take, for example, how Samsung never admitted to deliberately slowing down their Galaxy S4 smartphone, but yet still paid $2.8 million in lawsuits over it. Or the multiple different class action lawsuits against Apple for purposefully slowing down their iPhone batteries that cost them $113 million. These cases tend to be extreme, but software-chained products are much more common than you'd expect. Printers, computer programs, etc. are frequently rendered unusable by software updates. This can actually cause security issues in some areas, such as government equipment being run on computers that haven't had operating system updates in 7 years. Windows XP. Software can be used to break something as easily as anything physical. This constant cycle of breaking and buying again brings us to our second point of why this matters. We'll go over what it means to businesses, to consumers, and to the environment. If we put ourselves into the shoes of a business, this ordeal looks very promising. Every 3 years or so, the majority of customers buy a new device. And past that, what does a company care? They're driven by one thing. Money, 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 ain't it funny how a $1,200 sale is so much more appealing than a $150 repair. What this means to us as consumers is that we end up taking the brunt of this search for profit. When repair prices are outrageously high, it can seem like a much better idea to just buy a new refrigerator, phone, laptop, etc. With the average iPhone repair, screen repair costing $220, many customers feel pushed to just buy a new device. This constant cycle of breaking and buying brings us into the environment. Every year, the United States produces an estimated 12 million pounds of electronic waste. To break this into a visual, the standard box-style school bus weighs about 25,000 pounds, which means that every year, the United States throws away the equivalent of 480 school buses in weight of electronics. Perhaps more pertinent, however, is where this goes. 40% of this waste ends up in landfills in countries such as Brazil and the Philippines, oftentimes polluting the groundwater. Farmers who used to drink from springs nearby now won't even drink from wells for fear of the toxic water, many times cancer causing. In order to keep our devices out of landfills, there's nearly no legislation to make companies help us. In fact, in some cases, it's even illegal to repair devices because of very complicated copyright law. Chapter 12, Section 17, Title 1201, Copyright Protection Systems. This 18-page document is also legal jargon. The United States Copyright Office spends 195 pages explaining the effects of this one law. At our current rate, that'll only take like 8 hours. Just kidding. Thankfully, we elect people every 6 years or so that we don't have to be lawyers. Our senators. Well, we might not be able to take down all corporate corruption in one swoop. What we can do is avoid these tactics. When it comes to emotional appeal, perhaps the question we could ask ourselves is, would the people who support me be disappointed that I spent money this way? When it comes to software, etc., when it comes to physically breaking, a website that I would highly recommend visiting is iFixit.com, which tears apart the majority of devices and gives them a repairability scale from 1 to 10. This can help us find devices that can be repaired. When it comes to software issues and the ability to repair, we can not only contact our representatives to let them know that we want to be able to repair these devices, but we can also just straight tell these companies such as Apple and Samsung that we are tired of this waste. With some work, it is possible to return to the days of killing a moose with a Tonka truck. Thank you.